Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. We are here today with Hollywood Undead.
Hello.
Got J-Dog, Charlie, and Johnny. Thanks for coming in, guys.
What's up, Charlie?
What's up, John?
So you guys are playing at Pierre's right here in Fort Wayne this evening.
Yeah, we've been here a few times. This is like our third or fourth time, I believe.
And you've been out for a while,
Oh man, we've been on tour for almost 2 months now. We still got a month left to go.
right? And then you head over to Europe
brutal.
after that, right?
Yeah, go to
In
Europe.
the early part of next year.
Yeah.
End of January, yes.
All because you've dropped the latest album.
Yeah, it's a hit, bro.
Yeah.
Yep. It's already
Yeah.
platinum.
Well, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for our moms bought all the copies.
Well, you know, but as long as they sold, right? That's what the...
It's
that's
platinum
what-
in New Zealand, not the States.
Okay.
Which is only 3 copies to be platinum in New Zealand.
But you guys have had great success with previous albums as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Platinum, gold. I mean,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one-
we've done it all, man.
Yeah,
Stoked.
and millions and millions of YouTube views and all kinds of social media stuff going on, tours with all kinds of people.
Yeah, man.
There's lots of great stuff.
Yeah, man, it's good.
So the new album, one of the things that stood out for me with it is it seems more aggressive to me.
Yeah.
Seems like there's more of an industrial kind of vibe to a lot of the electronic things that are going on in there. Where did that come from?
When we write music, it's like sometimes with those songs, the heavier songs, you're really like, sometimes we actually write songs that cater to live shows, you know? So we're like, we know like radio would never be interested in this, and like, but we know like our fans will like it, and we know it's gonna go great live. So it's like we all listen to so many different genres as background music, you know, growing up. So it's like when we write songs, we'll make it heavy and like industrial and aggressive just because we know it's gonna be strictly a live song.
Yeah, that's you got to think a lot along the terms of live. You're going to play this song 1,000 times. That's the most important thing, as opposed to what it sounds like on a record. I think you have to really consider how it's gonna come across when you play it.
Right.
We definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, sure. One of the interesting things with the band is you really have 5 vocalists and rappers and background singers. And how do you decide who's going to do what? How do you split all that up?
I don't think it's like a conscientious decision. I think everybody has kind of abilities that other people don't have. You know, everybody kind of complements each other. So it's really natural, you know, someone's going to be good for something in particular, and we all kind of have our own place. So like there's things I can't do that he can do, and vice versa, and all
There's
those
a lot
things.
I can do that you can't do.
Yeah.
So one of the interesting things in kind of checking you guys out is the diversity of influences and things that you draw from. Everything from Wu-Tang Clan to Chili Peppers to Black Sabbath to all kinds of different genres and things. Do each of you bring those in, or are individual members more interested in certain genres and you blend all that? How does that work?
Yeah, I think everyone, I mean, we all have a lot of similar stuff we listen to, but there is like,
Everybody's got their taste.
yeah, everyone really does have their taste. Like he's probably more of like the Nine Inch Nails industrial stuff. I listen to like a lot of country and stuff. So like there's songs that have a little bit of country in it, and then
Jay stays up on all the hip hop stuff.
Yeah,
He
I
listens to
listen more
modern
to
hip-hop.
rap and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
He's got his ear to the street more thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the songs that stands out for me on the new record, there's 2 actually. One is Pray and one is California Dreamin'.
Cool.
And, you know, those are both, to my ears anyway, coming from kind of a darker place. How do you balance that with some of the other songs that aren't as dark and yet make it a cohesive album?
I think, you know, like, we've always done that, you know, and I think at first the juxtaposition was harder to juggle because it is true, it's kind of tougher, but we've been doing it for 5 records, and, you know, one of the things that I personally like about being in Hollywood Undead is if you have an idea and you're in a particular type of band, you go, well, maybe I could do it in another project or down the road. We try to encompass everything that we're interested in, everything we like writing, so it's always kind of been who we are. Is, you know, people can listen to our band that, you know, they make like hardcore music or heavy music, and they might like hip hop, and, you know, there's something for everybody. So I think one of the gifts of being in Hollywood Undead is that there is no, hey, we can't do that. We do whatever. And some of it doesn't work out, granted, and like some things go too far in one direction, but we try everything. So I don't think it's not as difficult as you'd think and stuff, but, you know, we try and make the records even so that there's like, you know, a little bit of everything, and that's kind of what the band is.
Some artists, they do themselves a disservice because you listen to like 4 songs, you're like, all right, I don't need to hear the rest of the record. I know it sounds the same. But when we do the order of our record, that's like more of like a complicated thing because you got to make sure our songs are so different that it flows, you know?
Right.
We don't just go, okay, just mix it up, throw it on, because you might be like, whoa, that sounds out of nowhere. Like you actually have to like strategically place our songs. So when you're listening to the record straight through, you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Right. And even within the songs themselves, because they go very dramatically, both dynamically, from lower points to very heavy points, and different styles within the songs. And that can be a challenge, right? Transitioning from a rap section to a more metal type section.
It takes a little more wherewithal. I mean, Like I said, we've been doing it's the 5th record, so I think we have it down. But at first, it's definitely true where you're like, well, how do you juggle all these different elements that are coming in and out? But like I said, I think that's what makes Hollywood Undead different than any other band. And like he said, after 4 songs, you probably heard the whole record. With us, all from the first to last song, at least in my opinion, you don't know what you're going to get on that last song, even if you've heard the previous 13. And
Sure.
that I think is what kind of makes us different and makes it exciting.
Right, right. You guys have said that on this new album, you kind of took the reins yourselves and really ran with it and produced yourselves more, and also released it on your own label. Talk a little bit about the challenges of doing that.
In the past, a lot of times, because we all were songwriters, and then we know how to record it as well. So a lot of times we would write a song and record the demo and then bring it to a producer, and it felt like they were changing it just for the sake of changing it. Or the producer feels like they have to produce now, so they change it, and to us made it worse. So it's like this time, like we felt confident enough for us to just write the song and take it from literally an idea to mixing. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it was a lot of fun, and I think it worked out. I mean, half of the record is produced by J-Dog and myself, and I think like 3 of those songs are going to be singles, whether in Europe or in the U.S. So it's pretty cool.
Right, right. Yeah, listening to the record, as I mentioned earlier, it's to my ears anyway more aggressive than some of the earlier records, but it's also got a bigger sound and a more bold, if you will, kind of upfront kind of a sound. Was that something you were consciously going for?
I don't think so. I mean, we've been doing this for long enough now. We're just getting better at it, you know. Like he said, it's like we're more confident in what we're doing now. So it's like when we're recording, it's like it's so hard. Every band has this problem. Like, how do you stay the same band but advance? And I think we just kind of like subconsciously figured out how to advance without even like planning on it.
Right.
You don't want to make the same record over and over again, even though people ask for that constantly.
Right.
Oh, I wish you'd do this record again. But if you actually did that, they'd say, what the hell, I already have this record.
It's not as
So it's
good as
really
that
hard
one.
to please people and please ourselves, because we'd get bored if we made the same thing over again. So that juggling act is kind of tough, but I think we got pretty good at it. And on your point about the label, I just wanted to touch on that, because one of the coolest things about that, and we've always had to satisfy A&R dudes or record executives. You got a bunch of guys in suits listening to it before you get we didn't have to do any of that this time. So I think if any artist ever has the opportunity to do it on their own, they absolutely should.
Right, right. You guys both mentioned a little bit there about pleasing other people and fans and things, and you've said in interviews before that every time you do a record, you do a tour, you really have to go out and prove yourself.
Yeah, totally.
And in this day and age, it's really changed from the way it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, because an artist would be out and they'd hear from their fans or they see their fans, but you don't hear the other stuff coming back. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so now with social media and with YouTube in particular, you have to deal with all of that a lot more than earlier artists had to. How do you guys manage that?
We don't. We just get pissed.
Yeah.
It's weird because I don't understand this concept, because like I love your band, but I don't like this song. It's like that blows my mind. Like my favorite artist, I would never go up to, hey man, like I love your album, but I don't like that song.
Right. Yeah, like volunteering it. If
Yeah.
you asked, okay, that's your fault for asking.
Yeah.
But they'll just go up to you like, hey man, I'm a big fan, but yeah, I really don't care for this record. It's like, why are you telling me that?
Yeah, it's like we never asked
What is
for
the
that.
point?
Like people's opinions now are just so on the internet. So as an artist, sometimes it's tough to deal with. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I don't care what your opinion is. I never asked for it. You know what I mean? Not to sound rude, but it's like these people, like everyone's a critic nowadays. You know, like so.
Yeah, we talk about this sometimes. If you go through like on the internet, comments and stuff like that, 99% of them are really positive.
Sure.
None of that matters once you read one that sticks in your head and you start going like, is that song not good? Or, and it's just one person, but that is what sticks with you. So, I try and avoid that stuff altogether. And once in a while you run across some jackass who's like, I don't like it. It's like, okay, whatever,
Yeah,
Right.
it's just weird. You can find your favorite artist in the world and just have it. Like if I went to Nicki Minaj's page and wrote something, chances are she's probably going to see it. You know what I mean? Because
everybody looks.
Yeah.
Our old manager used to tell us, because a bunch of actors that they, big actors, A-list guys would read like negative reviews of their movie and they would lose their mind. So no matter, you're never above that. We all want to be accepted and want your work accepted, especially when it comes to like artistic stuff. You're never above that. So I think the best thing to do is not pay attention, because someone will always have something bad to say just because they're a prick and they're unhappy with themselves, so they can't handle someone else doing something, that isn't negative. So the best thing to do is just steer clear.
Yeah.
Right. It's tough for an artist, because I think for a lot of artists that I talk to, it makes them want to wait until something is perfect before they put it out, so they don't risk.
But there is no such thing. That's a destination you're never going to get to.
Right.
We know dudes like that will work a song till it's good and then it's bad because they go past that point and they can't handle
Overthinking
criticism.
it.
A producer of ours will make songs to the point where he won't let them go. The label's like, hey, you got to give us the song. And he's like, no. Well, we can't pay you. It's our music. No.
Right.
Because he can't handle someone saying, hey, I don't like that.
Right.
And which is sad because of the fact that the world is like that.
Very
It's kinda
talented
sad.
dude, but just, that little thing is like bugs him still. It's crazy.
Right, right. Yeah, it's tough to let go of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys, as we discussed, you released this on your own label. Talk a little bit about how the industry has changed since the band was formed back in 2005 to today.
Oh man, it's changed so much. It's like there's so much to talk about, but artists nowadays are just putting themselves out more. It's like distribution deals, just doing things on your own without no label, period. It's like with social media, it's like you're the master, he always says you're the master of your own domain nowadays. So it's like you're in control now. So when people are like, oh, I just need to get signed and then I'll make it, it's like that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
So like there's no excuse anymore. It's like as an artist, it's up to you to make it, and you can make it. You don't need anybody else. You're
Right.
making music in your bedroom now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, too, you could just get by releasing music. Now you have to tour. There's no way around it because there's too much output, and you have to stay current. And the only way to do that is you constantly have to be out at the forefront. Before band, you could release a record and tour on it for 3 years. You didn't have to worry about putting out videos or anything like that. That was all you had to do. Now it's like you have to be constant. You have to have constant output. There's no way around it. And
Right.
with the streaming and all that stuff, there's this constant influx of content that if you're not doing that, people will forget about you. It really is the way it
Yeah.
is. Kids have such a short
Yeah.
attention span. So I mean that's different. Before you made a record, you didn't make another record for 2 years. You got to be putting out songs all the
Yeah.
time.
You gotta
Non-stop content.
You got to
Yeah.
draw the line though, because if you listen to like managers or like other labels, whatever, they're like, you guys need to like be posting like every day, like post about yourselves. I'm like, I'm not a reality star. I don't need to tell people what I had for breakfast. I'm a musician, Why can't I just make music? Oh, because you got to do this. So I see other artists doing this, and their music's terrible. I'm not going to say who it is, but they have so many social media followers because they just post all day, every day. And I'm like, I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah, I'd
you know?
rather have my integrity and less followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So do you have certain guys on the band who do more of the social media stuff, or do you spread it around, or do you have somebody who does that
spread
for
it
you?
around.
Right.
I don't think any of us are that up on it, but I mean, we try. I like going on there and seeing what people are up to. I like
Right.
stalking people, like ex-girlfriends and stuff.
Yeah, through the band page.
Right,
Yeah.
the important thing.
Yeah.
I broke up with an ex-girlfriend once. We had the old Hollywood Undead pencil. We spray painted it right on her porch. I was like,
Yeah.
you broke up with me? You're going to see that forever.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you guys have a great presence in all the social media, whether it's posting photos or comments from
yeah.
gigs.
Yeah.
and
Our
those kind
fans
of
are
things
avid. The thing
interesting.
about social media is like it's engagement. So you get people with 1 million followers, they post a photo, oh, you got 10,000 likes. We have like, less than half that, and we'll get 3 times as many likes. So it's all about engagement. Like our fans are very active.
Active fans.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're nice little kids. They're cool, bro.
Right, right on. Right on. So it's interesting to, another thing that has developed in the industry is really the rise of the big festivals, where you'll see 100 bands on a festival versus headlining tours and more package tours, if you will. Maybe not the right word for saying it, but
No, that's correct.
multiple bands going out. Talk a little bit about the difference of going out and supporting, or not supporting, but being part of a festival versus going out as a headlining artist.
Well, one, you get to see bands that you've always wanted to see, and also you get to play in front of a new audience that's never seen you before or has an opinion on you. I think our band, people have an opinion on, and if they're not fans, it could be negative, like, oh, these guys rap and they're white or whatever. But after seeing our live show, I think that's how people kind of will understand what our band is. Like, we really try to put on a good show and make sure that it's fun and make sure people have a good time. I think that's what we're kind of good at, is winning over new audiences, and the only way you can do that is either opening for a big band or playing a festival. So we love doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have had some great pairings with Avenged Sevenfold and,
Yeah.
and Metallica and Slayer, and those fans are very, they're avid.
Yeah, but we're
listeners.
we're
Fans,
heavier
but
than
you're
those
heavier than
bands.
that.
So
Yeah, right.
the fans always switch, bro.
We just
Right,
played
right.
a handful of shows in this moment, and like I'm pretty sure like almost every show is sold out, and if not, like there were arenas almost sold out. So it's weird to compare with, like, you don't think Hollywood Undead and In This Moment go together. Like there were huge numbers every night. It was really great. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you never know.
Nice. Right. So we talked a little bit about taking the recorded songs onto the stage. And again, you guys have 5 vocalists, and several of you play guitar, bass, little keyboards, programming,
all of it.
and you have a tour drummer. How do you decide, or how do you arrange things to take them on stage? What's the process there?
Usually, well, if it's a rock song and it has drums and bass, like a non-hip hop song that's programmed drums and no really live instrumentation, then we try to figure out, because 4 of us can play either guitar or bass, J-Dog, Johnny, and myself, and also Danny plays guitar and bass. So if it's a rock song, then we'll figure out, I mean, what guy isn't doing as many vocals, because we never want to, like if you're doing like a hip hop style verse, you don't really want to play guitar and do that. I don't know, it's kind of cheesy to us. So we'll have someone else who's not doing a rap part on the song play the guitar or the bass. Or
Yeah, that actually takes play in the studio. So, you know, him and I can't be on so many songs together that has guitar in it, because, you know, one of us has to play the guitar and we switch off. But our live set is very intricate, so it's like, we have our stems, you know, stuff that you can't reproduce. It's like we got, you know, laptops running Ableton with the radial, you know, SWA auto switchers. One laptop goes down, the other one kicks in. We got an MPC, we got keyboards, we got Kempers for the guitars and bass. So it's literally like, it's very complicated on stage. Like people think you just get up there and press play. It's like, no, we got like a lot of stuff going on. But we put like a lot of time and money into this to make sure it's right. And we did all ourselves. A lot of bands pay for playback rigs, you know, where, you know, you just click it and it goes. And someone builds it for you. We built it all ourselves. So people are like, you know, I think like, how does that work? Like, I ask other bands, like, I don't know. I'm like, I know everything on our stage and everything it does, you know.
Right.
So.
Me too.
Right. As long as you all know it, that's the important thing, right?
What's
So anybody
the
can
stage?
right?
No, when he looks at all the cables, he gets dizzy. Like,
Yeah. Whenever I want to take a nap, I go look at the gear. I'm just like,
Right. Right. So doing things within Ableton, then, are you able to extend arrangements? Are you able to change things up if the, you know, the audience is in the right place,
Yep.
or you're
yeah,
feeling
you
like
can
you're
do
in
it
the
all.
right
You
place?
can trigger clips in any way you want. You can just do live loops just like that. You know, we can do everything.
We've had extensions and stuff and had parts go twice as long for live, just after like feeling the song out with the crowd. Then we go into Ableton and
We got a Kai Live, which we were like, that's our NPC on stage. We bring a fan on stage, well, he does. And then he's like, to give a speech. And then when they get the microphone, he just cuts it out and just makes a very lewd comment. And the crowd thinks that the kid said it.
Right. Nice.
it makes us laugh more than the crowd. This idiot.
He just farted.
So everybody's having fun.
Yeah, it's a
That's
good
the
time.
big- right.
Like he said, we always try and make the show, you know, there's enough bands out there that are, you know, they want, you know, beat shit out of each other. You can sit there and cry. We're an escapist band. We want people to get away from the drama of the real world and just have like a good time for 2 hours. And we write serious music and stuff like that, but the whole end goal of our set is that people walk away and say, hey, I had fun. And that's what concerts were about for a really long time. And I think that changed over time, and that's what we're trying to do is just, look, we don't care what side of the music you like or what it is. We just want people to leave happy.
Just
and
have a good
like
time.
they had a good time. They got away from work or life or whatever it is.
Sure.
And had a good time. And that's
Right.
really what I think music is all about.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you guys have performed and gotten to know many artists on very high level, artists that have been around for many, many years, and you guys have been around now 12 years and had a lot of success. What is it that makes a successful artist in today's music industry?
I think, honestly, above all is perseverance, because there's so many down. We've gone through like hell to get through certain things. There was times where all of us thought at one point or another of quitting through label drama, band. You know, there's a
And
lot of
being,
things.
being broke along the whole way,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you
like-
know, there's bumps in the road that are so numerable, and some of them feel insurmountable at times. If you can make it through those things, I think you can be successful. But everybody says, "Oh, I'll deal with that when it comes," but it's a lot tougher than I think people plan on it.
Right.
I think music talent isn't the first thing. It's how much you're willing to give up to do it, because you're going to have to give something up. You can't just do this and get away with it. So it's like, I think if you really persevere, if you believe in music for more than just the reasons I just want to play music, if it means something to you, you can get through all those things. But I don't think anybody I know that's been successful in music has had an easy road to do so.
It's tough because most don't make it, and then you spent 10 years of your life, and then all of a sudden you're done. You're like, wow, like I have no backup plan, and it's sad because you want to be an artist and you want to play music, but then like there is no backup plan. You just have to go for it. And
Right.
at times, I know a lot of musicians that are 10 times better than me, and like they're not happy in life because they're not playing music, but they never gave it the shot that we gave it. I was like, hey, it's this or nothing for me. I was like, if I don't make it, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
And it's true, it's a risk. You spend, let's say, 7 years going to school, you're going to have a good job for the most part. You spend 7 years working on music, you're guaranteed absolutely nothing. So you have to be willing to sacrifice that and risk those things. And like you said, there's a lot of talented musicians out there that didn't get those opportunities. And I think for the most part, it's because they couldn't deal with the repercussions of what it is to really be in a band, which is being broke and having nothing and no roots or nothing like that. You have to sacrifice all those things. So if you're willing to do that, I think you can be successful, and the talent thing comes second.
Right. Well, I understand what you're saying, though, and that's,
Yeah.
and that hasn't changed, I guess, through the decades or whatever. I mean, that's always been the case, right? It's the people who stick with it and have
You just gotta keep
also have a
going, man.
vision for what they want to do and a place they want to get
Yeah.
to is
Yeah.
kind of part of that too.
Except for him, he's the most talented guy I know right here.
Thanks, bro.
What? Yeah, so
He's really good at talent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Always had a knack for talent.
Yeah, we really have.
That's awesome, guys. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey,
I
no, thank
appreciate
you, man.
taking a
you.
break to visit.
Yeah, I
with
got to
us.
tell you, man, I feel happier. I feel like I just saw a really good psychologist.
Oh, that's what I'm here for. You're on the couch.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay down. You would maybe stick
And
around.
we can ask you all kinds of things about. Well, we won't get
My
into it on
mom.
camera yet.
My dad, that prick.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
I
man.
appreciate it. And thank you for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.